What's up, gamers? DreamcastGuy here, talking today about Amnesia, the Bunker. Now, my subscribers know this, but I'm a really big fan of horror games. I just think it's interesting to see how different developers handle scares with spooky monsters, limited ammunition, or really dark and dingy shadows. Well, Amnesia, the Bunker is a game that's certainly terrifying, but it's also very different than the other Amnesia games. The previous entries in the series, not to be overly mean to them, but at times they felt like haunted house simulators. Oh no, the spooky monster's gonna get you. Oh no, it popped out. This game, though, it definitely has more of a strategy to it, an openness. I mean, it's an interesting experiment, but I'm not sure how successful it actually is. Let's talk about the goods and the bads. So, Amnesia the Bunker takes place in World War I, where a soldier that's been wounded, whose name is Henri. Now, they put you in this big underground bunker to let you recover from an injury you got on the battlefield, and while you're down here, you wake up from surgery, and everybody's gone. The place is pitch black, you get a little teeny tiny flashlight, and you start to discover all these mysterious notes talking about something wandering around in the bunker, a creature they just call the Beast. Now, apparently, this thing loves eating people and doesn't particularly enjoy spotlights, which is probably why he's underground. Everybody else has already managed to escape or become a Subway chicken sandwich, so we're the last man here. And, to be extra jerks, they blew the entrance shut. The premise of the bunker is incredibly straightforward. Get out. Now, as easy as that is to say, it's very difficult to actually execute. So, the major shift of the bunker compared to previous projects by the studio is that it's kind of open world, I guess is how I'd sort of phrase it. You have access to the entire bunker right at the start. It's broken down into separate wings, like an arsenal that's full of military supplies. A prison, there's a big medical wing and maintenance, and by actually exploring these, you find different crucial important items. You are trying to basically build the biggest bomb possible so you can get out. But this entire time, the Beast is tracking you down. Now, here's how it works. Essentially, this creature is attracted to sound. So whenever you're trying to go, it's possible to not trip him up too much. Just sneak around. As long as you're creeping or at least walking slowly, he's not going to randomly appear. There's little tiny crevasses all over the place that he loves to pop out and immediately kill you. Now, if you are being sneaky, you can carry that out most of the time, but there is some necessary noise. Occasionally, you're going to have to rip a vent open or smash a door down or, God forbid, throw a freaking bomb like a grenade at a pack of ravenous rats. Now, this is the interesting dynamic of it, is that when the monster shows up, you're not completely defenseless. You do have a gun. In fact, there's a couple different weapons in the game, and by actually hitting it, you can stun it pretty good. Now, you can't kill it. It seems to be pretty good at recovering, but a lot of times it can give you that breathing room. Here's the thing, ammo is in extremely limited supply. So I searched pretty much everywhere I could in this game, and I probably found less than 30 bullets. Probably less than 20, to be honest. But that's part of the strategy, is making sure you stay as quiet as possible so that when there is that forced encounter, when the Beast does actually detect you, you have that ammunition to stop him and escape. Now, if you go and hide somewhere, as long as you're pretty good about not leaving a blood trail, if you actually get a pretty bad injury and you don't patch yourself up, you will be sprinkling some delicious bits of human juice all over the ground. The Beast will track you down and eat you. But as long as you manage to sneak away or crawl under a table or lay under a bed, a lot of times he won't grab you. Here's the other part of it, though, that actually makes this a very fun game at times, but also incredibly stressful. There is gas cans all over the place. Now, in the very center of the bunker, there's a main safe zone, and you can fuel up this big generator. Now, when you do this, there are light switches all over the place. Turn enough of these on, and ta-da, the beast suddenly doesn't pop out as much, keeping the place pretty lit. You're actually safe for the most part. So when you're trying to explore, it's worth it to stay in those dark zones at times when you're really scrounging to find that next big puzzle piece. It's worth it to actually carry back as much gas cans as you possibly can with your limited inventory space to gas that back up and stay extra safe in the future. It's a really cool yin and yang of like, all right, I could run directly where I need to go. There's like notes all over the place that typically tell you, hey, you got to get to headquarters. You need to find this key. You need to find bolt cutters. And then once you know where to go, it's pretty easy to zip in there and zip out. But if you take the time to actually search for more bullets, more gas cans, more med kits, it's an interesting balance that I think they walk well. The biggest detriment to this game, in my opinion, is the fact that the beast just instant kills you a lot. There is stuff that can wound you, like tripping a landmine or springing a trap or getting bit by a rat, but if the beast catches you, 90% of the time he just instantly snaps your neck. And the problem with that is that save points are manual only, and they're pretty dang far apart. There was about 10 separate situations where I was exploring a new area, I'm trying to figure out some minor puzzle and actually figure out, which areas are safe or not safe. I have the beast show up, he snaps my neck, and I get put back all the way to the previous checkpoint, which sometimes was very, very far away. Now, once you know what to do, it's pretty easy to repeat content. It's not like it takes as long the second time, but there were big sections of the game where I found myself going through it 2 or 3 times until I figured out the proper path. Now, in general, I think this game is fun. It's cool that you actually have these extra methods to it, but I do also think it feels a bit overly indie at times. This game is short. The entire map is not particularly giant. The graphics are not really good. The beast is an interesting design, but he kind of looks hokey, and sometimes his AI would break. I actually had times where he definitely should have been able to see me and doesn't. And honestly, from a personal perspective, the idea of this like photosensitive monster, a creature that's dodging the light but attracted to sound, that is terrifying. And I like all the notes of people talking about slowly being driven insane and the vague hints as to where the monster came from. I just think this game, it's so dead set on making the monster scary that doesn't quite feel paid off. He does feel a bit goofy because if he touches you, it plays that exact same instant kill animation. It just feels like there's a tiny bit of a disconnect between the vibe they're trying to present and the vibe that actually delivers. This feels like it wants to be more of a survival horror game, with health systems, with save one bullet terror, with different kinds of monsters and the ability to set off traps and stuff. But it doesn't really play like survival horror. It's an interesting idea, and I do actually think it is a good step forward for Amnesia, but if you're like a general horror fan, I don't know if this game's worth like $30-$40. I'm not sure what this even costs. It is on Game Pass though, so I would say that if you have Xbox Game Pass, this is a good thing to try out. You can finish it in like 6 hours pretty dang easily, breeze through it in an afternoon, play it with some friends, use that little stupid flashlight to find some creepy notes in the dark. It's more of a experienced space horror than that visceral gluttor terror that other games manage to achieve. Okay, well, we've heard some good and some bad, but let's go over to the ratings board and put a big number on it. I am giving Amnesia the Bunker a 7 out of 10. Thanks so much for watching, gamers. If you enjoyed this video, give it a big old thumbs up, share with your friends, and subscribe if you haven't already. And please keep dreaming. It's pretty cool. It's interesting that the Amnesia games are still coming out. I hope this video gets views. Sometimes I talk about more off-the-wall horror and nobody clicks on it. But be open-minded. Try something weird on Game Pass. Thanks so much for watching that video. If you want to see something else, you can always click this link to see what I put up last, or, subscribe and see what's coming up next. Also, I promise that whatever I do, it'll try not to suck.